Britain says no to the Brexit extension, the mainstream media uses fake news against the government, and Donald Trump freezes the funding for the World Health Organization. Oh, hello everyone. Today we have some news that's not technically health related. We have Brexit news. So it's been a while, and both sides have been apparently negotiating throughout this whole period. As you know, that the European Union and the UK need to decide whether they want to extend the Brexit transition period by basically the end of June. They need to decide that, and so we're going to talk about that, but also the way the mainstream media are behaving these days. We made a video about this yesterday, and the last couple of days we've been talking about this, but it's getting worse and worse. We have a very, very bad example that happened on Good Morning Britain, Piers Morgan. And we're going to talk about Donald Trump and the WHO. So before we start, I want to say a massive thank you to the members of this channel. It's because of your support that we can continue our work. If you want to join as a member and get more out of this channel, get more benefits and perks, check out the link in the description or find the join button next to subscribe, or go on your browser and type in youtube.com/myotc/join. Now, let's start. So as you know, the Remainers, the European Union, have been begging the UK government to consider extending the Brexit transition because they say we're too busy doing other things right now and we can't really negotiate via a video conference call. So a Spectator discovered that the UK will not request an extension to the Brexit transition period. And the reason for that is because, unlike obviously previous times when we had a hung parliament, we didn't have a majority Tory government, where it wasn't actually the Prime Minister who was in charge of really the destiny of what we were going towards. This time, both sides have to actually agree to it. The UK government need to request, which at this point, Boris Johnson has finally confirmed that that's not happening. So David Frost, the Prime Minister's chief Brexit negotiator, has held discussions with the First Secretary of State, Dominic Raab, and other senior ministers in the last few days. And as this is according to James Forsyth of the Spectator, he says that, as I say in tomorrow's Spectator, the conclusion of these discussions has been that the UK will not request an extension to the transition period. Now, the thinking is that the delay would not solve the fundamental policy problems, and that the deal is either possible or not, regardless of the timing. Another factor, according to James, is that the government worries about the cost of any extension. There is concern that extending could drag the UK into the arguments about who pays for the various EU schemes designed to protect a European economy and preserve the Eurozone, and is absolutely right. Now, the other issue that no one's really talking about is that the moment the UK government consider requesting to have an extension to the Brexit negotiations and the whole transition period, you are going to bring back the Remainers. You are going to wake them up. Because, we went through, the last few months, end of January, when we actually left as a member officially, the majority of the Remainers stopped campaigning. They accepted it. They said, that's fine. We're going to focus on rejoining in the next few years. We're going to wait to see Brexit basically fail, and then we're going to prove you wrong. We're going to come and start a campaign to rejoin the EU. The moment you extend this transition period, they're going to wake up and they're going to come back out again. And so that's not a good idea. And as obviously David Frost and Boris Johnson have said, there's no reason. You would know by June, and well, technically speaking by December in general, whether there is a deal that could be reached or not. The more you delay it, it doesn't really matter. You're going to find out soon, sooner or later. That's the problem. Now, if the EU did ask for more time, it would put the government in a difficult position. Rejecting the request would sit ill with the idea that the UK wants to be a good neighbour to the EU. David Frost and Michel Barnier will video conference today, but it now seems that the only way the transition period will be extended is if the EU requests it. And we're talking about an official request because obviously until now, Ursula von der Leyen, Michel Barnier have come out to signal and basically ask Boris Johnson to consider an extension. But if they officially request for an extension, then it will put the UK government in a very interesting position. So if they decide to extend it, then they will get the blame. If they decide not to extend it and go for WTO, well, it's not really WTO because they will push the EU to actually negotiate hardly to reach a deal. it will be kind of we'll find out in the next obviously few weeks and month what the UK government will do. They're either going to come out as heroes or zeros. So we will keep you guys posted on this on a regular basis. We're going to get more. I'm going to start interviewing some people who are close to the European Union on this channel, and the sources that we have in Brussels. So make sure obviously you subscribe to the channel and click on the bell next to it so you get notified. Now let's talk about the mainstream media, because as you've seen recently on this channel, we've been exposing their misbehavior. And this morning we had Piers Morgan on ITV interviewing Helen Whately, the government care minister. And in the middle of that interview, he was showing the front page of the Daily Mail, talking about how 4,000 people have been feared that they've lost their lives in care homes. And apparently Helen Whately laughed when she was asked about this piece of news. But is it actually true? Now, is it? Because you've got the headlines. There's a number of articles about this, how the government minister laughed when she was asked this a question on this very sad news. And there's some videos going around that are actually edited and doctored. Let's watch one of them, and then you can, when you watch this, you will basically realize, you will think that Piers Morgan is right and Helen Whately is evil.
Daily Mail front page.
I'm really sorry.
The Daily. I'm showing viewers a Daily Mail front page. Okay. I don't know why you're laughing. Why are you laughing?
Well, because I can't. You said
I'm telling you what it is. It's actually very serious. It says 4,000 people may have died in care homes in this country. To which my point to you is, why are you only now doing all this testing? Where were these tests a month ago? What has been going on with our government testing?
My reaction...
Now, did you notice they basically had a few seconds of the moment she was giggling, and then they just repeated it. The audio was still going, but then they were repeating the same clip. And now the truth of this, we have the actual video, is that she didn't actually know what Piers Morgan was going to be asking or showing. Piers Morgan said, I'm going to show you something. And she was told by the producers that she had to turn off the actual screen, so she couldn't actually watch Piers Morgan. She was just looking at the camera. And so she initially giggled because she was like, before you show me, I can't actually see what you're doing. I don't know if you're going to show me something good or something bad. She had no idea. That's why she giggled. And the moment she found out what Piers was talking about, she stopped and she explained why. Watch this.
Daily Mail front page.
I'm really sorry.
The Daily. I'm showing viewers a Daily Mail front page. Okay. I don't know why you're laughing. Why are you laughing?
Well, because I can't. You said.
I'm telling you what it is. It's actually very serious. It says 4,000 people may have died in care homes in this country. To which my point to you is, why are you only now doing all this testing? Where were these tests a month ago? What has been going on with our government testing?
My reaction just then was because you said you'd show me something, and that I've been asked to set up the camera so that I'm looking into it, so I can't see what you...
Listen, it's fine.
Now, do you see the difference? And that's my biggest issue with the way the media spin the whole thing. And they spend the whole day attacking Helen Whately because they say, oh, she doesn't care. She's going around on TV laughing at people losing their lives. No one does that. She does this nervous laughter, and but she didn't even know what Piers Morgan was going to show her. And this is what we have to expose the mainstream media. I sometimes agree with Piers Morgan on a number of issues, but sometimes, this time, not really. And it's not actually necessarily just him, because he was doing the interview. It's post-interview, the press, and all these newspapers who decided to spin the whole story to attack Helen. That's the problem I have. Now, there's another person who's dealing with the fake mainstream media, the fraudcasters, and that's Donald Trump in America. Donald Trump has been attacked recently because of the way he's handling their press conferences on this issue, and but today he's decided to, the last couple of days decided to completely be careless about the way the media are and actually completely attack them. And he's announced today, big piece of news, that he's officially stopping funding of the World Health Organization. That's millions of pounds that America was giving to the WHO, and this is the reasoning behind it, is because the WHO are also responsible. They're incompetent, they're complacent, they're a bit dodgy, and they've been working with China closely, and it's not really good. They need to obviously answer some questions. Now, a lot of people are not happy about this, including the European Union. The EU have blasted Trump's WHO funding cuts as it fears they would worsen the situation. This is interesting, Because for those people who are skeptical about Trump freezing the funding, always ask yourself, well, let's see who's going to be angry about this. Well, Bill Gates and the European Union. Yeah, I'm probably going to take Trump's side on this. So, even though obviously it's an irrational move, it's a reactionary move against WHO, but WHO are responsible. They need to be abolished anyway. They're outdated, they're idiotic, they're centralized, and yeah, I don't like this anyway. So I am pro-Trump on this issue. And the European Union and Bill Gates could go and whistle. So this is what we have for today. I want to say massive thank you again to everyone who's been watching this channel, especially in these dark days. Obviously, a lot of people we don't have anything else to do but watch the mainstream media, the news. So I do these videos so that you guys are not forced to watch the BBC or Sky or Channel 4 for that matter. So I want to say massive thank you again for supporting us. If you, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, if you want to join as a member and get more benefits and exclusive videos and direct access to me, then check out the link in the description, or find the join button next to subscribe on the main channel, or just go on your browser and type in youtube.com/myotc/join. If you're new to the channel, you enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe and click on that bell next to it so you get notified. We have a daily show at 5:45 p.m. on myotc. I'll see you guys tomorrow with a new video.